Hello, everyone, and welcome to our construction claim mastery course session number 2. Today we will have claims in practice, classification, writing, and strategy. So today we will move one level deeper where things become more practical. Today we will answer 3 critical questions. What type of claims am I dealing with? What are the principles of effective claim writing? And how do I manage in live, or how do I manage claims in live projects? So we will have 3 parts today. The part 1 is the classification framework. Part 2, principle of effective claim writing. And part 3, strategic claim structure in live project. So let's start with part 1, which is classification framework. One of the biggest mistake I see in real projects is that people start writing the claim before understanding what type of claim it is. And this is where everything start going wrong. So if you want to categorize the main or core claim categories, so we have a delay claim, we have variation or change claim, extra work claim, different site conditions claim, acceleration, and disruption. And we will go through every type of this claim to discuss what is this claim and what the entitlements or the most likely entitlements of such claims. So we will start with the claim number 1, or type number 1 is delay claims. The definition of delay claims: a delay claim is a formal request by a contractor for additional time, money, or both, resulting from project delays outside their control, such as design changes, unforeseen site conditions, or owner-driven disruptions. These claims aim to compensate for added cost, prolongation, or to extend the contract deadline to avoid liquidated damages. And this is the most common type of a claim the contractor use in real life. The entitlements of this type of a claim, it will be extension of time only, or extension of time plus compensation when the contractor proves the casual link and resulting cost and the delay is attributable to the employer. So as we will see later, it's not automatic extension of time plus compensation. The contractor need to prove that the extra cost accorded due to the extension of time came from this extension of time. And we have some other cases, as we discussed in the previous session. If we have a concurrency, the concurrency might impact the compensation. So as a clear example, we have late site access. So with late site access, we will have extension of time and or cost. If we go to the second type of the claim, is the variation or change. Depends on what the contract stated or name it. So the definition, the variation or change in construction is an alteration, addition, or omission, or substitution to the original scope of work, the design, or specification after a contract has been signed. It's a formal mechanism often managed by a variation order that allows for adjustment to contract value and completion time without invalidating the contract. And that's the purpose of the variation clause in the contract. So it's allowed to make changes, and we have change mechanism without invalidating the contract. The entitlement outcome for such type of a claim is either cost only or it can be time plus cost. The reason is in some changes or variation, the impact only cost. For example, if I have a change in the material from material X to material Y, but both of them can be delivered and installed without affecting the project completion date. So in such case, the contractor cannot prove that these changes can impact the time. So then we will have only a cost claim to cover the higher cost, for example, of the changes. So as example, we have the change in materials, and these materials, after analyzing it, we don't have impact on the time, but because the higher cost, so we have only compensation. The third type of the claims is the extra work claims. And the extra work claim refers to work not included in the original contract scope, often requested by the owner. And this is the difference between change or variation and the extra work. In the extra work, this item is not included in the scope of work. It's something new. So like example, I have a project, the scope of work is a building, and the client requested for any reason to have small buildings beside this building. This is out of the scope, and this is extra work. So that the variation or change is alteration to the original scope of work, but the extra work is something new, not included in the original contract or scope. The entitlements here also, it can be cost only. So like as our example, we have a huge building, the project duration is 2 years, and the client later asked for a new small building to be built beside it. But when we analyze the time impact, we can execute the new building in parallel with the old building, and there is no impact time. So in such case, we will have only cost because of the new building, or it can be time plus cost if we can prove the impact on time. Example, and in most of cases, this type of claim or this type of request will require new agreement rather than the change, because most of the contract doesn't require a new agreement with the change. When the employer requests for a change or variation, the contractor must to comply with this instruction and progress. But with the extra work, it will require a new agreement. The next type of a claim is different site condition. The definition is that differing site condition are physical conditions discovered during construction that differ materially from what was expected, indicated in contract documents, or reasonably anticipated at the time of bidding. As example, we discovered a rock or groundwater that was not indicated in the bidding documents. Also, the entitlements here, it will be might only cost only if these things, after analyze it, will not have an impact on the time. So always, when I want to speak about extension of time, I need to prove that this event will cause a time impact. If there is no time impact, so then I will have only cost. So here also it will be might only cost only or time plus cost. Example, rock layer discovered on a part of the site, partially foundation redesign, but when we analyze it, we found out that there is no impact on the time, so the entitlement will be only compensation. Then we have the acceleration. The definition of acceleration in construction refers to increasing the planned pace of work to finish a project or section earlier than original scheduled. It involves using additional resources as labor or equipment, or working overtime, or using more efficient work methods, usually resulting in higher cost for the contractors. And we have two types of the acceleration. We have directed acceleration, which the employer orders the contractor to speed up the work for any reason, want to complete the project earlier than the contractual completion date, or let us assume that we have already agreed extension of time, but even that the employer wanted to complete the project on time or earlier or something. So there is a reason for that and requested by the employer. So it's directed acceleration, and this directed acceleration will cause a higher cost to the contractor, because as we mentioned, it might be we will use additional resources, it might be working overtime, and that will cost the contractor more than planned. Maybe we will use more efficient work methods that will cost us more time, more time, money. So this is directed acceleration. We have the constructive acceleration, and that occurs when an employer refuses a justified extension of time, and this is important, a justified or valid extension of time. So the contractor submit an extension of time and is valid, strong, and justified, but for any reason the engineer and the employer insisting to rejecting this extension of time, and the contractor decide to accelerate the work to avoid liquidated damages. Later, the contractor will use the acceleration claim to cover his losses in the extra cost that occurred because the acceleration. But it's very critical and risky if later the contractor couldn't prove that he is entitled to extension of time. So in such case, it's not acceleration, it's a recovery, or it's a mitigation to recover the delay. And the entitlements here also is just compensation. We don't have any extension of time here, because we are reducing the time. It's not extending the time. So example, we have complete project early. We will have compensation. Okay. The next one is the disruption claim. The definition of disruption claim is disruption in construction is the disturbance or hindrance or interruption of a contractor's planned working methods, resulting in lower productivity or lost efficiency and increased costs. Unlike delay, which focus on time, the disruption focus on reduced efficiency of labor and equipment, often caused by changes, site access issues, or out of sequence work. So in the disruption, when we have an event causing a disruption, the disruption will not cause an extension of time, will not extend the project completion date, because if the event will extend the extension of time, or to extend the project completion date, so it's simply a delay claim. So this event is a cause for a delay claim. But when I have an event that causing or impacting the productivity without impacting the project completion date, and this productivity impact causing extra costs for the contractor, so this is the disruption claim. And this is one, or maybe the most hardest type of a claim to be proved, because it will require a lot of recourse, a very accurate recourse, and very accurate calculation to prove the disruption. And we will see now what the methods or the common method that we can use it in calculating the disruption. The entitlements here, it will be compensation just to recover the extra cost that caused by the disruption. So let us have a scenario or example, simple example. We have in the plan we have to installation of 100 square meter of tiles per day with 5 tilers working 8 hours. So I have 100 square meter. We can install it with 5 tilers and they are working 8 hours. The actual that the same tilers, the same 5 tilers install the 100 square meter, but it takes 10 hours. So the plan is that this team to install this 100 square meter in 8 hours, but because of the disruption, the same 5 tilers install the same quantity, but in 10 hours. Or let us say it was planned to be installed in 5 days, but it takes, for example, 8 days. So we have a disruption here. We have a productivity loss here. So the calculation, the original productivity is 100 square meter per day. This is the achieved planned output. So the productivity 100 square meter divided on 40 hours, because I have 5 people, multiple 8 hours per day. So divided on 40, so the productivity, the planned productivity is 2.5 square meter per hour. Actually, the 100 square meter divide on 50 because 10 hours, so the productivity is 2 square meter per hour. So I have a productivity loss 20 percentage between 2 and 2.5. So this is the disruption that it caused productivity loss or losing in the efficiency or in the productivity, and because of this will cost or will cause extra cost to the contractor, because instead these 5 tilers or these 5 workers will work only 8 hours and the salary will be for 8 hours. I have to pay 2 hours extra to install the same quantity. Okay, so now let us go through the primary